Up, everyone? This is Peyton Anderson back with Next Level Athletes. You know, taking some time off, but I'm back. I'm really happy to have Jaxton Santiago, Yale wide receiver, on with us today. He's a rising athlete looking to do a lot this season. Before we get going, Jackson, thanks for taking the time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Yeah. And to start off, taking a look back into your recruitment process out of high school, what stood out to you most at that time? Was anything surprising to you throughout that process? But ultimately, what led you to choosing Yale? Because I did see you originally were committed to Boston College.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole recruiting process in general is really surprising. When you don't have someone that's gone through it before you to talk to, it's really challenging. There's so many little things to it that you wouldn't know until you go through it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really a challenging process. And originally, when I made my first decision, I committed to Boston College after my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was committed my entire senior football season. And then it was actually the second practice for basketball season that year,
Mm-hmm.
right after football season, about around December. And I got a call from Boston College, and they said they were going to head in a different direction and that they
Mm-hmm.
were going to take a kid from the portal. And so, obviously, at the time I was heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I took some time um, to kind of think about it and sit and reflect before reopening my recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, before I made anything public, I had reached out to two schools, being Yale and Princeton, who were the two schools that I had felt originally that were next level programs. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I wanted the chance to play FBS football originally, but I knew those programs were amazing, and so I reached out to them first before even going public with reopening my recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
And once I finally did, I scheduled official visits to both places, both amazing places, and I have nothing but good things to say about both coaching staffs. But what ultimately led me to choosing Yale was the family that's built here. And I think I went to a lot of different places where they talk about culture, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I've ever been somewhere where it feels as real as it is here. And I'm so glad that I made this decision because I can tell you truly, as a freshman, when I came in, it wasn't any of the things you hear about, like, oh, this is
Mm-hmm.
what was sold to me, and it was completely
Yeah,
different
that
when I
it's
got in.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was completely true to who it was. The coaches were the same, the players were the same, and it's truly a family from the moment you step on campus.
Awesome. Taking a look back into your high school career at Centennial, amongst your accolades, you were area and league offensive player of the year, finishing with 2,665 receiving yards. In addition to this, you were also first team all area and team MVP in basketball. Reflecting on your high school career, what would you say was your favorite memory? But in addition to that, how did playing, being a multi-sport athlete help you when transitioning to the collegiate level?
Absolutely. I think my favorite moment, honestly, I'm going to cheat it a little bit because I'm going to say my entire senior year of high
Mm-hmm.
school. For football, was really special to me because I was able to play that year with my brother. He's my
Mm-hmm.
younger brother, and that's the first time we've been able to step on the football field together. He didn't start at quarterback that year, but I was able to catch a few passes from him in some different games, which is
Nice.
honestly really cool for me and still one of the coolest things I've ever done on a football field.
Mm-hmm.
And then stepping into basketball that year, my dad actually came back to coach. So that was the first time that I'd ever played for my dad as a head varsity basketball coach. And we were able to go to the state finals that year, and it was a really special ride, and it was a lot of fun. So,
Yeah.
and then as far as being a multi-sport athlete, I think it helps tremendously. Always staying active, but a lot of the footwork, the change of direction that you
Mm-hmm.
see in basketball, it absolutely translates to being a receiver, to blocking on the edge, to route running.
Yeah.
And a big one is absolutely the cardio, staying in shape for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I did a little student managing of basketball and like we would do like our like manager games and like after a
Yeah.
couple of times I'd be like I'm out
Oh,
like
absolutely. That basketball
yeah.
conditioning is always different.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, Continuing forward, seeing that you started with Yale in that 2024 season, you guys went 7-3 overall with a 4-3 conference record. In that season, you appeared in 9 games, catching 9 passes for 123 yards, most notably notching a season high 42 yards in that season opener against Holy Cross. Coming to college, what did you feel was the most difficult thing to adjust to, but also what you'd say was going through your head going into that, opener, that season opener?
I think the thing that was toughest for me originally adjusting was being so far from home. I'd never been away from my family
Mm-hmm.
for so long, also being so far. And so it took a long time. I don't even think it was till towards the end of my senior year in general where I really got a grasp on being away and being able to handle myself. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's
like
a
I
long
said,
way from California
oh
to,
my goodness, yeah,
Connecticut. I used
the
to live in
time
Connecticut
change
for a few
too.
years, so yeah.
Absolutely, and just trying to talk to my family and all the different challenges it presented. But it honestly all went back to how I mentioned with the recruiting process, with this place really being a family. And they embrace you, and it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from or how much you play or once you step on campus as a Yale football player, you're family. And
Hmm.
that was something that was truly special to me and still is truly special to me. Um, and so I think that really helped me adjust. And then heading into the season opener, my original goal going through fall camp, I realized we had some older guys in the room, and I really just wanted to try to make the travel roster.
Hmm.
But I was able to put together a pretty good fall camp and just continue to stack days. And honestly, heading into the season opener, I didn't know how much I was going to play,
Hmm.
and that was kind of the same story the whole rest of the year. I didn't know how much I was going to play in each game, but I prepared each game like I was a starter. So no matter if I was in for two snaps, like I was in the Harvard game, and I was able to catch a crucial first down, or I wasn't playing at all, I prepared the same way.
Hmm. Fast forwarding into that 2025 season, you appeared in 11 games, recording 50 catches for 687 yards and five touchdowns, all second on the team behind Nico Brown. First off, how were you able to make that significant jump in production from season one to season two? But also what you'd say changed the most from that season one to season two in regards to your skill set and play style as a 6'3" receiver with some speed.
Absolutely. So I think what allowed me to make that change originally was the experience I gained as a freshman. And I came into, like I said earlier, just an older room with guys like Mason Ship and Chase Nenad. And honestly, if it wasn't for those guys, that jump and things like that would not have been possible because I came in as a freshman and I was almost annoying. Like I just asked so many questions and I would
Hmm.
take as much as they would give me. And thankfully, those were two amazing, amazing guys that taught me how to play outside receiver, taught me the ins and outs of managing school and all the different nuances of being a college athlete, especially in the Ivy League. And so I look up to those guys even to this day, and I'm very thankful for them. And then
Hmm.
I think what led me to be comfortable throughout the season was just experience. And so I think even if you look at the first couple of games, it took me a little while to get going
Hmm.
in terms of production. And I think once I started getting used to it and realizing that it's still football, there's a lot more to it. The game's a lot more complex.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's football. It's the same game I've been playing since I was a little kid. And once it started to feel like football again, that's when it became a lot of fun again.
Awesome. Second of all, looking again back at the 2025 season, you saw the program make its first ever playoff game in program history, making that fourth quarter comeback against Youngstown State to win in a 43-42 instant classic. In that game, you were carted off the field after going down after a pass thrown in the middle of the field. Yale went on to lose a close game to Montana State, 21-13. Um, but you know what? What did that playoff game not only do for yourself, the program, what opportunities you guys, get from that, but also, talking more about your injury, how did that affect you, like physically and mentally, and how you were able to, or in other words, what did you learn most during that time?
Yeah. So I think as a team, we always were confident in our ability to play. We'd always wanted to play in the playoffs, and we knew that we were good enough to compete at a national stage. And so I
Hmm.
think it was honestly just being able to display that was a really awesome thing, um, and showing the rest of the world. Like I think a lot of times the Ivy League is taken for granted and kind of pushed back, and then
Hmm.
you see it a lot of times in March Madness. You'll see an upset every now and then, or
Yeah.
now in football, I think it's a really special thing that we've been able to prove, to the rest of the world what we already know, and that we're capable athletes that can compete on the national stage. And then
Hmm.
in terms of the injury, obviously physically it was very tough. Um, I'm still rehabbing today. It's going a lot better now, but it was tough physically. But mentally was probably the most challenging part in terms
Hmm.
of, I went home for surgery that same week back to California, and I wasn't there for the Montana State game, not even on the sidelines to cheer on the guys. And so that,
Hmm.
that part became really challenging. Um, and just wishing I could be out there trying to cheer on the guys and support my guys in any way that I can. Um, but it's honestly helped me a lot because I think now I've become more of a vocal leader, whereas
Hmm.
before I've always been someone, even in high school, who led by example and led with my actions rather than my words. And so now I've been put in a leadership position to where I have to use my voice, and I think it's really helping me grow as an individual and as a person.
Awesome. Moving forward, looking at your season ahead, you have your spring games, I think on the 11th and the 18th. What are you most looking forward to showing the fans and alumni in those spring games? But, more importantly, you still have summer camps, preseason camp dates, all that stuff. What can fans expect to see from yourself? Or what are you even expecting to see from yourself to make that, to take your game to the next level?
Yeah. So for the spring, I'm still out, still recovering and rehabbing, which is going really well. So I think in
Hmm.
terms of showing the fans and the alumni, I think it's more of a team aspect, and I think we're showing everyone that we're still dynamic. We lost a lot of players, but I think we still have a very dynamic team, and I can't wait for everyone to see that. And then personally, as far as my goals for taking the next step, um, I feel like last year I was very grateful and very blessed to have the season I was able to have. But I think the next step for me is becoming a dominant player. If you look at the players like Nico Brown, like Dave Pantelis, who came before me in this program, those are players that
Hmm.
dominated games. Anytime they touch the ball, they could score, and I think I have the ability to do that. And I'm just hoping that I can take that next step in my journey and become one of those players.
Yeah. When shifting from the football aspect of things to the media world, I mean, probably better than I do. The college sports continues to change, with all the regulations and transfers, all of that stuff. It can be chaotic, but obviously it's great that you're able to make NIL opportunities and all that. But how would you say you've navigated the NIL world, but also what you would advise or share with young and upcoming athletes as to what maybe they should look out for, pay close attention to, and overall what they can do to help themselves, make the best decision for themselves, if that makes sense, and not
Yeah,
kind of rushing towards the first, great opportunity.
yeah. I think it's a lot like you said. It's really complex and complicated, and even for a player on this side of
Hmm.
things, it's not any easier to understand than
Yeah.
you may know. Um, so for me personally, the opportunities have been kind of limited, so I don't have the utmost knowledge on it. So I couldn't
Hmm.
really share to an up and coming recruit, you know, NIL advice specifically, but what I could say is that I think athletics and college sports is a lot more than just the money you're getting paid. Um,
Hmm.
I think, if you get injured at a different place or a different program, you might not be treated the same. And so I think it's really important that you pick a place that values you, not only as an athlete, where you can see yourself succeeding on the field, but somewhere that values you as a person. They care about
Hmm.
your family, they care about you as an individual. They want to see you succeed in life, not just on the football field and what you can do for them. So I think my piece of advice to younger players would just be, don't just jump at the first bit of money that's thrown your way. Find a program that fits you, both with the relationship aspect and the football aspect.
Yeah, kind
I
of
think that's
taking it to the long run, kind of seeing not just what it can do for you in
absolutely,
college.
yeah. And I know that's harder
Hmm.
for some people than others, but I think it's really important, and it'll go a long way, and it'll keep college sports genuine. You don't have to jump at that first bit of money.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. Shifting our focus towards off the field life, taking a look into your roster page, it currently says you're undeclared for a major. Tell us about your current interests, what your current interests are academically, potentially what you're looking to do in the future, whether that be in the sports world or something different. But in addition to that, I saw that in the past season, you saw the program have 6 players named to the academic all district team, with you being one of them. Um, how do you value academics, in a time and place where, it's seemingly that it's sports, 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 let's play, academics is what it is. How do you kind
Yeah.
of go about that?
Yeah. So for the first part of it, in terms of being an undeclared major, we declare here after our sophomore year. And
Okay.
so I'm going to declare as a political science major. It's something that I've taken a lot of interest in,
Okay.
classes relating to global affairs, international relations, and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun for me.
Hmm.
I don't really know what I want to do with that political science degree afterwards. I want to continue to play football for as long
Hmm.
as the Lord blesses me with the opportunity to do so. And so I'm really going to keep chasing my dream of playing football at the next level. Um, and then in terms of the accolade, it was really. Um, I was very humbled to receive that acknowledgement because I think here we like to stress, you get into this place and like some people may think you're student first and a student only, and that's kind
Hmm.
of where the whole they like to diminish the athletic programs. But I think here we're truly student athletes. There's a
Hmm.
lot of guys here that really care about football and really want to go to the next level, and you see it every year. Guys transferring out to big schools, or we have like 6 guys in the NFL right now.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, keeping academics important is why we all came here. We're
Yeah.
student athletes, not athlete students. We all love football. A lot of us have dreams to play at the next level, but making sure you take care of business in the classroom is just as important, I think.
Yeah. I never heard of it that way. I like how it's the student athlete, not the athlete student. I think that's a great way of putting it. Um, Looking into the Yale roster, it's always subject to change. There's players that can come in and out at any given time. You're seeing a lot of key pieces from last year's team transferring to other schools, as you kind of talked about already. But what would you say is the viewpoint of the program as it's currently heading into the upcoming season? And in addition to this, if you had to choose one word to describe the identity of Yale football, what would that word be and why?
I think the team's in a really great spot. We just got a new head coach, Coach Cahill, who came over from Lehigh, and I think during that time period where we were really in an unknown as a program, we really just had to focus on relationships, and the team became a lot closer because of it. And so I think in terms of culture, we're as tight as we've ever been. In terms of the players leaving, Coach Reno used to always say, "You leave the jersey better than you found it," and so
Mm,
that entails older guys looking after younger guys and teaching the ropes a lot like how Chase Neanat and Mason Chip did for me. And so I think we've had so many amazing guys in this program that have taught younger guys the ropes and showed them how to play the game and showed them what it means to conduct themselves as a Division 1 athlete. So we have a lot of young guys that are ready to step up and that are hungry and that are amazing football players. So I think we're going to be in a really great spot. And
hmm.
then in terms of just describing the program in one word, I think it's family. And we use the acronym. We use that as an acronym. Forget about me.
Hmm.
I love you. And that ties into to everything I was just talking about. It's putting yourself last and putting your teammates before you. You know, when I was a freshman, those dudes were just as happy to see me get a catch as if they were the ones
Hmm.
catching the ball. They didn't mind.
Yeah.
And so I think the entire program embodies that, and that's what makes this place really special, and it makes it a true family.
Awesome. Following up on the previous questions, what does it mean personally to you to be able to suit up in that Yale uniform each game? Do you have anyone in particular that you represent or play for? And if you do, who are they and why do you represent them the best you can?
Yeah, it's an absolute honor to step on the field. I think anytime stepping on the field, no matter where you're at, is an absolute blessing to be able to play the sport that I love, and it's a game at the end of the day, but it's a lot of fun, and to be able to play at such a high level is an absolute blessing. But representing the Y and Yale football in general, it's a very historic program.
Hmm.
And I think it's a really special thing. So you have to consider that when you put the jersey on, the helmet on. It's not it's not just about being a football player. It's about being a person in general. You're representing a lot of people that
Hmm.
have come before you and a historic program that means a lot to a lot of people. So I like to take that into account. But for me personally, I like to try to represent the last name on my back. I
Hmm.
have a very lovely family that has poured so much into me and hours and money spent in terms of travel, getting me
Hmm.
to camps, helping me get recruited, walking me through the process of getting recruited when we had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many people also outside of my family. I have friends, teammates, amazing coaches that have supported me along the way. And so I think those are all things I consider before I step on the field each time. It's how can I represent those people that have got
Hmm.
me to where I am now the best I can. So that's why I like to try to conduct myself in that manner and play as hard as I can no matter what's going on.
Absolutely. Looking more into your social media, I see you've been baptized and appear to be a man of faith. When would you say you first started to take interest into your faith, but also what faith has done for you in regards to how it's guided you to not only be the young man you currently are, but also the man you aspire to be in the future?
Absolutely. My faith is everything, I think, to me now. And it was something that was kind of always present in my life since I was little. My
Mm-hmm.
grandma is amazing in her walk in faith, and she's very knowledgeable. And so I had always learned a little bit through her in my time, just spending time at her house and things like that. But I don't think it was really till I got to high school around my senior year with the whole recruiting process. Honestly, I had always prayed as a kid, and um,
Hmm.
I was praying at that time about not feeling comfortable with my commitment to Boston College, and I took the call that they gave me as a sign from the Lord, and I from then on I just committed my life to the Lord. I picked up my Bible that day, and I fully sat down and read it for the first time, and throughout my senior year, and even to now, actually
Hmm.
sitting down to read my Bible on a daily basis has changed my life drastically. And like you mentioned, being baptized was one of the highlights of my life. Being able to do that with my younger brother,
Hmm.
give my life to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ was just a phenomenal thing, and I think it means the world to me. It's the reason I am who I am. It's the reason I'm able to play this sport, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, a little bit of a follow-up. Do you have, I know it's kind of on the spot, do you have some sort of verse you kind of hold yourself to, or, a favorite part of the Bible that you like to, especially read maybe in the toughest times?
Absolutely. I think it's even more important now. It's Matthew 28:20, and surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. My brother and I actually just got that matching tattoo on our ribs
Nice.
because it means a lot to us in terms of it's Jesus talking to the disciples, and he's telling them, surely I'm with you always to the very end of the age. I'm not going to be here, but I'm always going to be with you. And so I like to think about that in terms of myself and my brother. Uh, and I'm always going to be there for him, he's always going to be there for me, but also it means even more than that. It means it's a reminder that Jesus is always with us, and every time I step on the field, every time I step in the classroom, every time I wake up, it's something to be grateful for. And no matter what I'm going through, I know that the Lord's got my back.
Awesome. Speaking more to the life off the field, I see you volunteered at a local elementary school where you route to children and assisting in classrooms. What would you say has been your favorite community event or team activity so far, but also what you look for when you're volunteering in the community and in the general public?
Absolutely. In high school, I was able to volunteer with children a lot more, and that's something I'm very passionate about. Where it was reading to elementary school children, like you talked about, or teaching
Hmm.
youth sports and volunteering at camps. That's really special to me because I remember being a little kid on the sidelines or outside the gates of a high school football game, and I thought those people were superstars, and I
Yeah.
thought they were the coolest people on the planet. And
Hmm.
so, to try to be able to give back and teach people the game that I love, or to be able to go back and read at those places is honestly so special for me. That's my favorite thing I've been able to do in terms of high school. But now in college, the entire Yale football team, we help lead the Mandy Schwartz Bone Marrow Drive here on campus, and it's a really special thing. Um, every year we do it. It's coming up this Wednesday where we help try to get people in the registry,
Hmm.
and it's really humbling because it really makes you sit and reflect and understand. There's so much more to life than football, than school, and so the opportunity to register with the chance to save someone's life and advocate for saving lives is truly a special thing.
Awesome. Shifting our focus towards family life, I know you've mentioned it a little before, but seeing that your father notably played at the University of Washington, how would you describe the significance and importance of your family? Just kind of reiterating that, especially, the bond they have with your brother, but also what you'd say to them if they were listening to this interview.
Yeah. My family, like I said, is one of the most important things on the planet to me, and I try to represent them in all that I do. And it's been really cool to see them. They were able to make it out to two games last year,
Hmm.
and I mean that was so much fun for me. They've been my biggest supporters my entire life. It wasn't until I came to the East Coast that they ever missed a football game or a basketball game.
Yeah.
I had grandparents that were always in the stands, cousins that were always in the stands, my intermediate family always in the stands, always my loudest supporters, no matter what. I could have the worst game ever. I could have blocked the entire game. They don't care. They just love
Hmm.
seeing me do what I love, and that's a really special thing. And so, if they're watching this, I just hope that I'm making them proud. All the love they poured into me and all the hours and the time they've spent. I hope they can see that it was worth it, and that I can continue to make them proud as I continue to chase and do what I love.
Absolutely. I think for sure, I think that. Just going out on a limb, I think they are. I think they're pretty proud of you and what you're doing. Moving forward, seeing that your hometown is Bakersfield, California, what would you say has been your go-to spot over the years and why? Essentially, in other words, what is one thing you'd recommend someone to do if they were to visit Bakersfield?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of people that have Bakersfield, California marked down as somewhere to
Yeah.
visit. In California, it's definitely notorious for not a whole lot going on. But I'm a big foodie myself, and I like to eat food. So
Hmm.
my favorite spot in town is Luigi's. It's a classic Italian restaurant, very old. It's been in Bakersfield forever. Phenomenal steak, phenomenal pasta. So if someone was coming through, I mean,
Yeah.
I might not be able to show you the coolest thing in the world, but I could take you to get some good food.
Yeah, awesome. Um, Although you're a rising collegiate athlete with a couple of seasons left in you before making the next major decision with your life, when everything is all said and done, how do you want others to remember you for not only as an athlete on the field, but just as importantly as a person off the field?
Yeah, I think you said it yourself perfectly. I don't want to just be remembered as an athlete. And something my dad taught me from a young age. Football is what I do. It's not who I am. And
Hmm.
so I want to be remembered as a good man of faith, as a good brother, as a good teammate, and as a good person. More than I want to be remembered as a great football athlete. And so I try to conduct myself in that way. I try to be a good leader, a good friend. I try to be someone that people can rely on and reach out to. Mental
Hmm.
health is a big thing, and I try to make myself available to everyone. No matter how much I talk to you, if we talk on a daily basis, if we haven't talked in months or years, I try to keep my phone always open and
Hmm.
try to be someone that supports those people and just anyone in my life.
Absolutely. And finally, what would you say is your ultimate goal or dream you want to achieve with the time you have left in college?
Yeah, it's a fun idea that Coach Reno instilled in us early, and it's the idea of chasing elite. And the fun thing about chasing elite is that you're never going to get there. And
Hmm.
so Um, I would love to say winning a national championship and winning more Ivy League championships and receiving all league and all American accolades, but that's true. That wouldn't be the true answer, and that wouldn't be true to myself.
Hmm.
Um, the truth is just working as hard as I can, and chasing elite means being focused on the process. So those grueling Tuesday practices,
Yeah,
that's what I want to chase after, and being the best teammate that I can. That's what I want to chase after, and so I want my legacy to be someone that continued to chase being elite, rather than being focused on the outcome.
absolutely. Once again, Jackson Santiago, Yale wide receiver. Jackson, really appreciate you coming on today and wishing you nothing but the best with your career going forward.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute honor.